So I don't know about you guys, but definitely the hardest part of the day for me is deciding what I'm going to cook next. It's always difficult to please everybody, and having a picky eater definitely makes everything a lot harder. So it is Tuesday afternoon. It is time to make dinner for the family. I made lentils, and if your family is like me, everybody eats something different, it feels like. So when Christian was younger, he was an extremely picky eater, I would say. Now looking back, I realized that he's not an extreme picky eater, but for me, it felt like he was really picky. He only had a handful of things that he would eat. He didn't need it to be a specific brand or like a specific texture, but it just felt very hard. As his mom, I got really used to cooking different meals. So I would make myself a meal because I was vegetarian. I would make Christian a meal because he wouldn't eat what I usually cooked. And then I would make the rest of the family their meal. And it still kind of feels like that. So today I cooked, let me show you guys. I made lentils. You can't really see there. They don't look that appetizing. I was gonna try to have Christian eat the lentils and show you guys kind of how I go about that, but they were spicy. I guess the pepper that I put in was a little bit spicier than I thought it would be. So we're gonna go with the tried and true. I want to show you guys how I try to expose them to food and kind of like give you guys some tips that I've learned along the way. I have a client that is an extremely picky eater, and I've done some food exposure with him and it's gotten a lot better. So I want to give you guys those tips. So hopefully you guys find them helpful. So let's talk about the foods that Christian will eat. I feel like I'm pretty lucky about his foods recently. He does, for example, eat for breakfast oatmeal, which is healthy. He does not like egg anymore. I think we overdid that one, but he will also really like cereal. He's a big fan of cereal, and that definitely can have way too much sugar. So I try to avoid getting the really bad ones, but he is a big fan of cereal. For lunch or dinner, he likes to have chicken. He'll eat beef. He has white rice, orange rice. He also likes soups and pastas. Now the one thing that he doesn't like is when I mix too many things together. So if it's a soup and it has potatoes and vegetables, he does not like that. If it has a really strong scent, he will try to push that plate away. He definitely is very weary of anything that looks weird or looks green, like vegetables. For the most part, he'll eat a lot of fruits, but he does have a few that he just doesn't really like how they look or how they feel. But for now, this is what he's eating today: some chicken and some rice. So something that Christian does is he'll run around and then he'll kind of graze and come back to the food. When he first sat down, he ate only the rice, kind of like messed around with the chicken. At this point, it's been about 10 minutes where he's just kind of coming back and forth. I don't love when he does that, but I also have to pick my battles and know that at least he's eating the chicken. So he did finish all of his food right now. I am going to prep some of the stuff that I want to give him. I actually thought I had more stuff here than I do. Hang on. So I actually thought that I had more food than I actually do here. I wanted to try like some carrots with some peanut butter, because carrots he doesn't like, or he's never really tried them, and I wanted to mix it with the peanut butter because he really likes peanut butter. So I'm gonna keep it really simple. Fruits, I know that he can like. Turkey, I know that he can like, but specifically blueberries and kiwi, he doesn't necessarily eat. So I'm just gonna expose him to them and have some variety. So I'll show you guys right now. So far, this is what I have, the grapes that he eats. I cut these in half so he could kind of taste the inside, have a feel if he does actually like touch them and put them in his mouth. I'm gonna also cut some watermelon and some kiwi right now. I personally think it's a great idea to have a bunch of food kind of separated but nearby each other, and just have your child look at it and be exposed to it, maybe play with it. That way they see some of the food that they love, but they also get to experience and see and smell some of the foods that they might not be too fond of or have never seen. That way they don't feel too pressured to eat it. They just look at it, they might touch it, and it's a great way to expose them to new food. So this is what I'm doing here. I have a bunch of foods that he does eat, and I'm also mixing in a couple that he doesn't. Not too much, a little bit of everything. Wow. Is it silly? So silly. So as you can see, Christian definitely went in for the things that he was familiar with and he knew that he loved, like the watermelon. He knew he loved the grapes. He seemed to really enjoy the turkey. And now all that's left is the kiwi and the blueberries. And I think something about the kiwi's sliminess or texture, he kind of gets thrown off by, and the smell. The blueberries, I think because they are kind of like round and closed off, it's hard for him to decide if he likes it or not. But with a little bit of assistance, I kind of wanted him to like touch it and just be aware of it, and this is what kind of went down with that. You're touching the turkey. How about the kiwi? I'm gonna touch it. I'm gonna touch it. You're touching all of your favorites: the watermelon, the turkey, the grape. You know what you're doing. Look, we have 1, 2. Good, you touched it. 3, 4. Yeah, good job. I like how you put it in your mouth. Good job. What about the blueberry? Blueberry. They're touching the blueberry. Ooh, yummy. What do you think? You did it. Good job. You put it in your mouth. Yum. Is it yummy? Do you want some music as we're listening? I could put as we're listening. Do you want music as we're eating? I could put some music. Your playlist? Should we do your playlist, Papa? Let's do Christian's playlist. Christian's playlist. Are you all done? You can say, I'm all done. All done. Okay, we're all done. Bye, Christian. Let's wash your hands. Wash your hands. So with picky eaters, I wanted to give you guys a few tips that I found really helpful. My first tip is just consistency and giving it time. As Christian gets older, as he's been exposed to more things, as we've been practicing things, certain things just click. Same thing applies to food. When he was a really picky eater, I feel like all of a sudden he kind of just was okay with trying new things. Another thing that was really helpful was never forcing. Our kiddos a lot of times feel like they have no control in other parts of their life, and food is one of the parts that they can really control. So it can be difficult as a parent to be comfortable or accept that they're that extremely picky, but we just have to keep trying to make it as fun as possible, exposing them to new food and just never forcing, because a lot of times I've come to realize that it's more than just I don't like it. It could be like a sensory aspect. Some kiddos that I've worked with, literally it's like a smell can make them like gag. A certain texture is just really uncomfortable for them. I think it's best to just let them play and explore food in a fun way versus making it a chore. One of the ways that I would present food for a kiddo that was very, very adverse to food would be trying to make it as fun as possible in like a setting of like what they like. So for example, one of the kiddos liked the alphabet, numbers, shapes, things like that. I literally just wrote out like the number 1, a circle, a star, things like that on a paper, and I had that kiddo like put like a strawberry, an apple, a kiwi, things like that on it. So like, oh, let's put the kiwi on number 1, and that way it wasn't like I know I'm not gonna have to eat it. It's just I will touch it and place it on that. It made it more engaging and it made it less of a demanding thing. Another thing that we do is once they're comfortable, you can try just like literally touch, smell, put on lips, and then bite or lick. It could be like, okay, we're like modeling is the thing that that works really well. So let's smell the kiwi. What does it smell like? And then like, okay, let's put it on our lip. Good job. And then we can be like, okay, we're gonna lick it. Oh, that's a good lick. I'm just trying to make it as fun, but also like just building up on that. And next thing you know, like they can possibly bite it. A lot of kiddos also don't like audiences. So like if I tell the kiddo like, let's take a bite of the watermelon, they won't bite it. But when I'm not looking and I leave the watermelon there for them to play as they please, they'll take a bite of it themselves. And that's totally normal, and it's awesome that they can do it and not feel pressured to do it. If they are to the point where even smells, or if you're eating food that's really irritating them and they're crying, I think it's best to work on giving them a choice on what they want to do, but still you being able to eat those foods even if they're not on the table. So for example, if you're eating and they're watching a TV show and then they freak out for the fact that you're eating eggs, I think it's best to let them know like, hey, you don't have to eat this, but I am going to eat this. You can watch TV or play upstairs, or you can play with this toy, but I'm going to be over here while I eat this. You don't have to eat it. Like, reassure them that it's not for them. And, sometimes they might still fuss, they might still get, frustrated at you, but I think it's really important to set that boundary, because it could become a really bad thing where you are not able to eat anything, or nothing in that house is like, there's a lot of like things that could become very escalated. I saw that work well for a kiddo as well. Just baby steps. The kiddo might cry in the beginning, but you eat your food away from them, and then slowly they're okay with that, and then you are able to eat at the table, and then they're able to eat with the non-preferred foods in front of them. One of the things that I do with Christian, as I told you guys and showed you guys, is I try to put food that he's not gonna eat on his plate, and I try to do this more now. I feel like when a kiddo eats enough of certain foods that you don't feel they're as extremely picky as others, you start getting a little bit lenient with like how much you expose them to. But I try to put something that he doesn't like, so at least he's okay with seeing it on the plate. For example, some pastas that have veggies, he'll be okay with it now, but he'll like try to grab the pasta versus the veggies. So he will stop using the spoon and start using his hands because he doesn't want to grab the veggies, but he's still okay with the veggies being in there. And before he wasn't okay with it. The other day he ate pozole. If you guys know what that is, it's like meats and I think it's garbanzo beans, or I don't know what it is, but it's a Mexican dish. And before he wouldn't eat that at all. It has a strong smell. Now I put a little bit of the beans on the plate, and I put mostly meats and a little bit of the liquid, and he ate all the meat. He had like 3 plates of the meat. So that's huge for him. The other day also I put like a little piece of like a green onion, and he liked to stim on it. And I thought he wouldn't put it in his mouth, but I wanted him to be okay with it on the plate. And he actually put it in his mouth and he ate it. So those are all small but big victories. So I think the biggest tip that I could give is literally just exposing as much as you can on the level that they're in. So exposing them to being around food, or exposing them to them being okay with you eating food, and then exposing them to food on their plate, exposing them to touching the food, making it fun, cutting out shapes with the food, never putting that expectation of eating it, just making it fun, I think is the best tips that I can give. So let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if your kiddo is an extremely picky eater, what you guys have done to help with that, and how it's going for you guys. I'm hoping that I could do more recipes and more exposure with Christian for sure. He definitely needs to improve his diet, because like I said, you can get lenient and just do the things that are known and just leave it at that. But I'm definitely seeing Christian's irritability, depending on the food that he eats, go up, and he's actually never quite content with like the food that he's eating. So I don't think he's getting full enough, and it needs to be healthier. So I'll bring you guys, of course, on this journey. If we I'll let you guys know how it goes, and I'll show you guys, of course, how we're trying to modify his diet and help him eat better foods, because him and greens usually are a no-no. Vegetables, beans, like the healthy stuff he does not like. So I'm going to definitely try to expose him more to that. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Let me know if there's anything else I can try to help you guys with. Like I said, not all these tips might work. You guys might have tried all of these. Definitely a feeding therapist is very important. I find that they are very helpful with families that I've seen that have picky eaters. They always at least have some benefit. And if you haven't found the right one, it's not necessarily that feeding therapy doesn't work. It's like the therapist themselves. So you definitely have to try to find a great therapist that matches with your kid's energy, with your family, and your beliefs. So that's something else to consider. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.